Welcome to Coffee Insanity. I just want to talk a little bit about my setup for home roasting using the Behmor 1600 Plus. So here it is. It's a nice little roaster. This is a chaff catcher right here that I used to use. I don't use it anymore. It's more just cumbersome. Could cause some problems with the roast, with the drum getting stuck on it. But it does work for those of you that are going to use it. It does catch some of the chaff and it does keep it a little more clean if you do use it, but not going to use it. One of the main reasons I don't use it is because I use a probe now to get into the bean mass, and it's just takes too much time to try to get it in the machine and out of the machine, and I don't really use it. Also with my cooling process, it again just gets in the way, and I'll show you that towards the end how I cool my beans. So you don't really even need it. Most people, it seems like they just kind of toss it aside. Over here I use a PC, laptop, to use Artisan Software. The Artisan Software is a free software, but it is nice of you to donate some money to them. They do an excellent job with it. It's been really nice using Artisan Software. I don't know it very well, but I know the basics and it's come in really handy. Computer, the PC hooked up into a Mastech MS6514 thermometer, and using this probe that goes to it. Also, it comes with two basic ones, which I can use for my external temp right here, and I can also put it in the Behmor in different spots to check and compare the bean temp to the chamber temp. So I've moved this around to get some different readings. It's a lot of fun using one of these. This probe right here, it's designed, it's a J-type probe where it's just at the very tip. So when I get this into the bean mass, it doesn't get a ton into the bean mass. I have to use about 6 ounces or more. So I generally roast at 6 ounces for my roast. It does get into the bean mass, so it's nice. And it gives a pretty good, seems like pretty accurate reading according to some people I've asked. Oh, the clamp right here. This clamp, just a basic clamp at Home Depot I bought. This is for right here. If you don't have it secured when the drum is spinning, this will also spin. So you need to have something that's secured. And I just made it out of wood, a couple blocks right here. Some spots right here for I know where to put the clamp, so that way it's positioned correctly each time. I have a basic little timer right here, so that way I can have a secondary time source. I also use a timer on my phone, that way I know when the cool down cycle is going to start, so I don't forget to hit the start mode. On the Behmor, everyone knows if you have a Behmor, it has a fail-safe, basically making sure that you're staying next to it and you don't walk away, because your beans can catch on fire if you roast them too long. If you're not there to hit the start button, then your Behmor will go into cooldown mode automatically. I have the typical scale to weigh out the beans, and here's where I just put in my beans and I weigh them. And like I said, typically I use 6 ounces, mainly because I need my probe to get into the bean mass. I used to use 4 ounces before I used the probe. 4 ounces, you have a lot more control with the Behmor. Alright, let's take a look at some of the modifications I made to the drum, to the Behmor, to get the probe inside of it. I don't know if you can see real well, but right about here you can see I cut some of the corners right here and over on this side, so that way it doesn't hit, the probe doesn't hit it. So when it curves, I'll show you a video of that too, so it doesn't hit the tips right here, because it's got to curve in to get to the bean mass. And right here you can see it's a hollow tube. So I cut that part off, the spindle, and replaced it so that way it's hollow. Now there's a nut right here that you can see. So it just basically comes in like this and goes through, so that way it can get down into the bean mass. And to the side, I basically just got a drill and drilled straight into the side right here. I'll post a link to the video I watched. Somebody, I don't remember who it was, made an excellent video on how to do all this. really well. So I watched that video, and I watched a bunch of videos, chat lines, figure out how to do it myself, and I've been very happy with it. Really enjoy using the probe and the Artisan software. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cooldown process. There's two methods that work pretty well. There's one method where you basically have a cardboard box, make a hole right here for the shop vac, a hole on top for the drum, put the drum inside. You gotta wear gloves because it's gonna be hot, and hook up the shop vac right to the hole, and you turn on your shop vac, and in about 2 minutes these beans will be really cooled down. Cools down is the fastest method that I've tried to get the beans nice and cool. Now what I've done from doing that, now that I have a probe hooked up, it's a little more challenging to get that probe out quickly. So what I do is I have another modification. This one I got from a buddy of mine, Randy Sheets. Basically, cool down mode, you hit basically just a piece of cardboard with a hole in it, shop vac like this, hook it up to the front, and turn on your shop vac. This cools it down, takes about a minute longer. It's not quite as fast, but it works really well. It's a little bit more clean until you take the cardboard away. Then all the chaff will come flying out, but your shop vac's on and you just shop vac it up. I'm out in the garage, so it doesn't matter how messy I really get, just clean it up afterwards. And it works really well. That way my probe is still inside the drum, and I know exactly how fast the beans are getting cooled down, and it's a little more consistent that way. If you're going to do some home roasting, one thing that you should have handy is a pair of gloves, because everything gets really hot inside there, just in case you got to grab the drum, take it out, or if it falls off track, get it back in there, and a fire extinguisher. I've heard a lot that some people going into the second crack a little too hot and their beans catch on fire. Have a fire extinguisher ready to go just in case, so I keep that handy. If you have any questions on my setup, feel free to message me and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I'm not on very often, but I'll eventually get to it. So hopefully you enjoyed watching it, and all you that have Behmors out there, they're pretty awesome. Really enjoy using it.